Oh, Jesus. I gotta be really careful, all right? I don't want to make an enemy of the wrong side of the internet, all right? Fine print should be a red flag word when somebody says it. So this was a law firm was sending him a letter saying that his insurance company is not going to coverage this matter in its entirety. The Logan Paul matter. Okay.
No small group of people should be able to monopolize what gets monetized.
As Elon Musk personally demonetizes my account. True. Preach to me, queen. Wait, what video? I thought I saw somebody link a video earlier about the scam for $1 million. Am I crazy? Oh, another.
I got scammed for $1 million, and here's my story. You may have seen the video on my main channel where I talk about how we should have been covered up to $1 million.
I feel like for every piece of evidence you bring up, Rob takes it as an independent event and explains it away as if it's unconnected. Yeah, like when he says, like, was it illegal for Trump to say that? Was it illegal for Trump to say this? Was it? And I'm like, no, of course it's not. It's also not illegal to do any individual aspect of a criminal conspiracy unless it's the crime itself. But like, that's why it's a conspiracy. It's part of a plan, right? Yeah. Holy shit. But I think it says something when all of these debates are like so autistically done, to avoid engaging with like any of the fucking substance whatsoever. But that's fine. Okay. All right. We're reading this and then I'm done. Okay. It's already late. Fuck you guys.
I got scammed for $1 million, and here's my story. You may have seen the video on my main channel where I talk about how we should have been covered up to $1 million for this lawsuit against Logan Paul because we have what's called media insurance or errors and omissions insurance. The reason I got this
errors and omissions insurance. Errors and omissions insurance. What does this mean? Errors and omissions insurance is a type of liability insurance that covers claims against your business for mistakes you made or services you failed to provide. E&O insurance protects your business from claims by clients for negligence, malpractice, errors, or omissions you allegedly made while providing a professional service. The insurance helps you pay for your legal fees and any owed damages or settlements. Could this cover, do you think this normally cover, does this ordinarily cover defamation? I guess it could if you're like a media thing. Errors and omissions, insurance, defamation. Errors and omissions insurance protects against claims of libel or slander, also referred to as personal injury claims, that arise as a result of you performing your professional duties. Okay, so it looks like at least it can. Okay. All right.
The reason most media companies get this is because of defamation lawsuits, especially if you're going to do original reporting.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Sorry. One more thing. Yeah. Him saying that, like, the definition of insurrection at the time was, like, so vague and meaningless, or, like, they were just trying to protect against a civil war, so it shouldn't apply today. And then I'm like, what about the Second Amendment? And he's like, well, there were semi-automatic weapons that existed at the time. And I'm like, in the year 1785 or whatever the fuck, there were semi-automatic weapons. And he's like, yeah, the flintlock hyper shoot pistol that they made two of, or like, okay.
On very rich people and accuse them of things like scamming, you know, people don't take too kindly to that. And many times they will threaten to frivolously sue you. Sometimes they even will sue you, and you have to be prepared to defend yourself. It's very expensive, and so you want some way to do that. So you can get insured for that. You can get insured for defamation. And we've actually used the same type of defamation insurance or errors and omissions insurance to cover ourselves before and successfully done that. This time we thought it would be no different. So when we got sued, I saw a lot of great support from people saying, look, I want to help. I want to help you, kind of like, you know, you should do a GoFundMe or whatever. And I said to myself, well, look, I don't want to do that because I don't need it. And many commenters knew that I had insurance and they said, hey, he doesn't need it. Don't worry. He's got this errors and omissions insurance. I was like, yeah, you're right. You know, that's true. Except then I called my insurance company to put in a claim. I'm like, yo, knock, knock. We've been paying you thousands of dollars a year. Why not time for you to pay up? And they promptly called back. They're like, actually, no, we're not going to do that because in the fine print of our policy, your new policy, we've excluded ourselves from defamation claims.
Oh, no. Okay. Fuck. I don't want to get on the bad side of the internet here, okay? Okay. Let me... Oh, Jesus. Fuck. I got to be really careful, all right? I don't want to make an enemy of the wrong side of the internet, all right? Fine print should be a red flag word when somebody says it. When you say fine print, do you just mean like the terms of your agreement or contract, or like was this like hidden at the bottom of a thing that you had like no reason to even think that you should read? Because I don't know what you mean by fine print. Like, this is an insurance policy. What do you mean fine print? I'm wondering, well, hold on. I'm only a minute 50 in. I wonder if they sent, sometimes you'll notice you might get an email and it might say like, oh, like we're updating your policy or whatever. Like, here are the changes, and or go read these changes or whatever. I wonder if they didn't read, but we'll find out. Okay.
So I was confused. I was like, wait, but the whole reason I got this was defamation. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what does this cover if not defamation? They're like, well, errors and omissions. And I'm thinking, what do you call errors and omissions in media? You call it defamation. I mean, if CNN goes on and they make an error about some random person, that person's not going to sue them for the error. They're going to sue them for defamation. So I was
maybe not. There's probably tons of other like errors and omissions that could arise as part of your practice here. I don't know his particular contract, but I could just think of one thing. Like maybe me and Coffeezilla had agreed to collab on a video, and I find that I plan a part of my content around it, and then he bails on me, and I'm like, hey, we were going to do this, we agreed to do this, and now you said you're not, and I'm going to fucking sue you for this. You fucked my shit over. I promised my audience, and now you fucked me over. I think it sounds like that in the like an error in his ordinary practice or whatever, that type of insurance could theoretically cover at least the litigation fees for a case like that. I don't think it would always be or only exclusively be defamation. That's at least just from the thing that I just read very quickly. That's what it seems, but we'll see it.
Confused. I was like wildly confused. I go to my policy. I'm like shocked to find, yeah, okay, sure enough. Yep, you guys are excluded from defamation. And I'm like, how did this happen? So that requires the full story. So that's the TLDR. Scammed for $1 million. I mean, if they had paid out the whole claim, right? Like that's obviously a big part of this.
Did Coffeezilla, did he already pay $1 million? Or was that like the maximum amount they would cover? Has he already paid $1 million in legal fees, or?
Ultimately, we paid like, I think during the lifetime of this insurance, we probably paid like a few tens of thousands of dollars to this insurance. So it hasn't been cheap to pay for insurance that ultimately did nothing. So we at minimum got scammed for that amount. If you actually look at the total policy we had, it was up to $1 million. So I don't think it's a stretch.
Okay, as you know, the undersigned law firm represents the interest of those certain interested underwriters at blank, underwriters blank, above reference insured pursuant to the above referenced policy. Subject to its terms and conditions, the policy contains limits of liability of $1 million for each claim, and in the aggregate for all claims, with a $15,000 deductible obligation per claim. The limits of liability and the deductible include and are reduced by both damages and claim expenses. The policy incepted for a 1-year period on July 25th, 2023, and is subject to a retroactive date of July 25th, 2022, and is subject to a I don't know what that means. The policy incepted for a 1-year period on. This sounds like if you would like write a contract, but let's say the contract started like a month ago, and then you would subject it to a retroactive. I don't understand this part, I guess. I don't know. On behalf of underwriters, please allow this letter to formally acknowledge receipt of the above referenced matter. For the reasons set forth herein, underwriters hereby deny coverage for this matter in its entirety. Our understanding of the facts relevant to this matter is based solely upon our review of the materials submitted by and conversations with representatives of the insured. Please notify us as soon as possible if our understanding of the facts is incorrect in any way or needs to be clarified. In media is mostly used for accidental, unlicensed copyright usage. For example, a Marvel movie using a piece of art in their background that wasn't cleared by the artist. Oh, sure, that makes sense. It could be, okay. Okay, so this is a letter that he thought was sent, or this was sent right now. Okay, so this was a law firm was sending him a letter saying that his insurance company is not going to coverage this matter in its entirety, the Logan Paul matter. Okay.
Let's just say we got scammed for $1 million, but the full story I think is even more interesting. So initially we had gotten a
now we'll see what he says, and I could be misunderstanding. It doesn't sound
policy,
like it doesn't sound like they're no longer covering claims of defamation. It sounds like they're just saying for this particular matter, because of the facts of this case, we don't believe that it qualifies for your for whatever your current policy is. But I don't know, maybe he'll expand on it. But because it sounds like they're saying, for the reasons set forth herein, our understanding of the facts relevant to this matter is based solely upon our review of the materials, and they're saying that they're going to deny coverage based on those facts. But I guess it could be the facts are that it's a defamation claim and we don't cover that. But I don't know, we'll see.
I don't think it's a stretch to say we got scammed for $1 million, but the full story I think is even more interesting. So initially, we had gotten a message from another YouTuber who had just been in a lawsuit. This is how we started getting into this whole thing. And they told us, look, dude, I just paid $250,000. We were small at this time. He goes, I just got paid $250,000 to fight this lawsuit. I'm in the right. It's totally frivolous. This guy knows it. You need to make sure you get this thing called errors and omissions insurance.
$250,000? Who's he talking about? Holy shit.
So you can be protected like I was. So we were a small channel, and relatively the insurance was going to be very expensive for us. But I appreciated that, and I thought, that's really wise. If this channel continues in a certain direction, in the type of content that I want to produce, we need to have this. So we found a broker who kind of advertised himself as like, look, every YouTuber needs defamation insurance if they're going to be publicly talking about news, about like different topics. So we get a hold of this guy, and we say, hey, we want that. So he goes, great. So he shops us around some insurance, and we pretty immediately find some carriers who are willing to take us because at the time our channel is much smaller, and I would just say it's like less risky, so to speak, because the smaller you are, the less people are going to see it. It's just not as big of a risk. So we get covered. And in 2019 or 2020, we get a cease and desist letter from Dan Locke. Okay, I'm just trying to remember the year. I'm not so clear about the years, but I just remember we got a cease and desist from Dan Locke. It was one of our first. And the guy showed up at our house, really freaked us out. He's like, hey, are you blah, blah, blah? I'm like, yes. He's like, oh, not you've been served, but like here, this is, aha, we got you. So I'm reading the cease and desist letter. It's very like angry. Lawyers use that language like, you have to respond. Like, da-da-da. We're going to take very, heavy legal action against you. So we were freaked out. So I called my insurance and I was like, ring, ring. Hey, we're getting a cease and desist for defamation. Can you help? They're like, yep, we cover that. That's the whole point of the stuff. That's why you got it. So we're going to get you a lawyer. So we got a lawyer. We fought the cease and desist. It ultimately turned into nothing. In fact, most cease and desist letters turn into nothing. But we were relieved. We were like, okay, great. This stuff works. I'm very glad we have it. So we go the next year, and it gets more expensive, significantly more expensive, this type of insurance, because as you use it, they're like, well, you're a risk now. Now that you've used the thing you paid for, we have to charge you a lot more for it.
Wait, hold on.
As you use it, we go the next year, and it gets more expensive, significantly more expensive, this type of insurance, because as you use it, they're like, well, you're a risk now. Now that you've used the thing you paid for, we have to charge you a lot more for it. It's maybe like getting into an accident with like car insurance. But what I find a little unfair about this is we did nothing wrong. Like we didn't do anything. In fact, our claims, I think, were fair. And I don't think they were defamatory at all. But either way, the price goes up. We're happy to pay. We're like, sure, we don't care. As the years go, our channel starts getting bigger. And the channel, from an insurer's point of view, gets more risky, right? They're like, you're bigger, you get more views. Therefore, more eyeballs see it. You need to pay more money. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever. At one point, the insurance company we'd been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year. So we go to our insurance broker and we're like, okay, what do we do? He's like, well, I can shop you around a bunch more policies. What do you want? And we're like, well, we just want similar coverage. He goes, great. So he goes around. They work with a bunch of people.
Wait.
We actually don't want to do this anymore. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
And the channel.
Wait. Okay. Wait. Jesus. All right.
From it, we're happy to pay. We're like, sure, we don't care. As the years go, our channel starts getting bigger. And the channel, from an insurer's point of view, gets more risky, right? They're like, you're bigger, you get more views. Therefore, more eyeballs see it. You need to pay more money. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever. At one point, the insurance company we'd been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year.
You might have already received this notice, but your current EO policy with blank is being non-renewed. This just means we'll have to get you coverage elsewhere. Get your coverage elsewhere. So please fill out the attached application and return it to me now that we're 60 days out from the expiration date. Okay, so this is his legal team, I guess? Or a guy that works with him for legal stuff? Or
at one point, the insurance company we'd been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year.
I don't understand this. He says this is the insurance company saying we'll have to get your coverage elsewhere, so please fill out the attached application. Return to me now that we're 60 days out from... It's an insurance broker. Oh, it's a broker, a middleman. Okay.
So we go to our insurance broker. More eyeballs see it.
Okay, I see. Okay.
You need to pay more money. Always happy to do that. Fine, whatever. At one point, the insurance company we'd been using says, okay, you know what? We actually don't want to do this anymore. For whatever reason, you're not being renewed this year.
Okay.
So we go to our insurance broker and we're like, okay, what do we do? He's like, well, I can shop you around a bunch more policies. What do you want? And we're like, well, we just want similar coverage. He goes, great. So he goes around. They work with a bunch of people.
Sorry, I'm getting back to you a little late in the timeline here, as your policy with us is set to expire in a couple of weeks on 7/11/22. Please fill out the attached app and return it to me ASAP so I can try to get your renewal quote with similar coverages, limits, and premiums as last year. The market is a little tougher this year than it was in 2021. I received more declinations than before. So please get this to me as soon as you can so we can hopefully get you the best price possible.
And they're like looking for a while. We can start getting nervous. We start getting close to the deadline of when we have to renew. And because it's kind of a big deal. You don't want to lapse your coverage because then you say something is not covered, whatever. So finally, we're getting down to the wire. He's like, look, I do have this one insurance company we can go to. I don't know. They're kind of like, we can go to them. So we're like, yeah, dude, well, anything. Finally, he comes back. He goes, great news. They're going to do it. And we're like, oh, awesome. Is it more expensive? He's like, yeah, it's like 40% more expensive. We're like, we don't care. That's fine. We'll pay it. So he goes, great. Sign this, whatever. And we're good. So we signed it. And we're like, great. Little did I know these guys had put a special exclusion, 2 exclusions actually that are relevant. The biggest one in this policy was on page like 31, and it said, we are excluded from covering. It's all these things they won't cover. They're like, we won't cover defamation. Now, that's the only reason we're buying the insurance. But we don't see it. Now, there's a lot of like, whose fault is this? Is this the fault of the underwriter for not flagging it? Is it the fault of our broker for not telling us because he's the expert? Is it our fault for not reading the whole all 50 something pages of the
Okay, I don't have the best understanding of like insurance and all that because fuck insurance and fuck all that. My assumption though for this is that you would 1,000,000,000,000% hold the fucking broker accountable. Why the fuck would I have a middleman if it's not his job explicitly to read through the fucking policies? That's why the fuck you pay a middleman. Otherwise, fuck you. I'll just go sign up for the insurance directly. Why the fuck would you have a broker if he's not looking out for your interest? This is why he collects a fee. He's getting paid for it. Isn't that why you have a broker? Isn't that the point of having a broker? What the fuck?
contract? We're not insurance experts, but should we have read it? Should we have hired a lawyer, right?
No, bullshit. Should you have a lawyer for other purposes? Sure. But I mean, like, if you have a broker, I would assume that this is part of their ordinary work. This is part of what they do. Like, imagine that your broker had signed you up for a policy and you find out that the policy was actually 52 pages of them writing red rum over and over and over again. Like, should you have read the policy? I mean, no, that's why you're paying someone else to do it. What the fuck?
We're not reading the whole all 50 something pages of the contract. We're not insurance experts, but should we have read it? Should we have hired a lawyer, right? I'm not going to get into all of that in this video. The point is, there's this exception in the fine print that we never hear about. And there's also an exception from what they call like digital assets. Like, it's like they're excluded from covering it if it's about digital assets. Now, if you've seen my content, all the videos are, well, not all of them, but a lot of videos are about some type of digital asset. So it's like they wrote a policy, charges 40% more, and then every single part of the policy is like just drawing a box where it's like, we won't cover anything that this channel talks about. So anyway, I mean, I guess that's good business for them if they can get people to like sign it. And it was sent to us like by a broker. They're like, yeah, this is the only guy that'll cover you. Here's the only thing you can get. And we're like, okay, great. So we pay for this for like 2 or 3 years. I forgot the exact, I have to pull up the exact emails of like when we first signed with these guys. But we pay like tens of thousands of dollars for this insurance that does not cover us.
Especially, I'm so curious. I'd have to go back and check. When he filed his first claim a long time ago, I wonder, did he go to his insurance company directly or did he file the claim through his broker? So his broker knows the types of claims that he's likely to file. Well, he must have, because there was a rate increase and his broker would have known why the rate was going up and everything, right? Like,
now the whole Logan Paul stuff happens. We call our broker. They say, no.
Fuck. I wanted to shit on Coffeezilla. I wanted to go hard on Coffeezilla. I needed to fight with the rest of the internet on this. But this sounds like you just got royally fucked.
Call our broker. They file with the insurance company. The insurance company says, no, we're not going to do that. The broker starts freaking out. It's the first time they've heard of this. They had no idea.
That's not acceptable. They're the broker. What are you paying them for? If not to read through contracts. Most of these are fucking probably boilerplate anyway. They should have a whole team of people that are used to reading exactly these. You probably flip through it. It's like, yeah, that clause, yeah, boom, boom, boom. Like, what do you mean?
This is all in writing too. Like, it's actually crazy what they put in writing. They're like, yeah, we had no idea that this was part of the thing. We didn't know. So,
like that, if they truly did say that, assuming Coffee's not lying about anything, then it sounds like the broker should just get fucked. This is their job.
Yeah, that's the full story of what happened. I mean, it's kind of tough because by the letter of the policy, it's kind of like, did the insurer do anything? I mean, they just offered us a deal and we took it. So it's more like, okay, well, the broker, anyway, we're talking to like people because we're like, dude, how can we pay tens of thousands of dollars for insurance that doesn't insure the thing we paid a broker to find us? It's like paying a broker to find you car insurance and then they like sell you like car insurance that excludes any type of accident that includes something with 4 wheels. Like that's literally what this is like. But now we're in this crazy position where we're having to like talk to lawyers about if we need to like lawyer up versus the insurance company that's supposed to be paying for our lawyers in the other case. Like, it's so stupid. We're now having to be like, wait, no, I think you scammed us?
It'd be against the broker because the insurance company probably didn't do anything wrong. I'm imagining they sent over the paperwork. The broker said it was fine. And then the broker said A-okay. And then it sounds like the broker is the big fuck up here.
Also to the broker, like we're in this ridiculous situation where we should have had insurance to protect us if our insurance didn't pay up because now we got to talk to all these other lawyers too. It's so frustrating. And by the way, not only are we now having to look at all our options for what to do about all this, I have to read you this, dude. The broker not only admitted he didn't know what was in the policy, he put in writing that the underwriter didn't know what was in the policy. So he says, the quote and email from blank never mentioned that this exclusion was being removed.
The underwriter did say that he was very surprised and confused by this. The quote and email from blank never mentioned that this exclusion was being removed. It is not common for agencies or underwriters to read through every line and exclusion of every policy that we receive. So while we could have checked the policy to see that defamation was excluded, some fault lies with the blank for not disclosing this to us when we were quoted. Bro, really? Hold on, I don't know anything about this industry, so I could just be totally fucking wrong. This sounds like this guy is scrambling. What? Hold on. Now listen, the underwriter they didn't even say that it was changed. Bro, what am I paying you for? What the fuck?
Not common for agencies or underwriters to read through every line and exclusion of every policy we receive. So while we
also, fuck, I'm talking so far outside of my expertise, okay? Just everything I'm giving you is like 10% conviction. I thought the whole point of an underwriter is somebody that basically affirms that like everything works out like to the formulas or mathematical calculations of the company. Like underwriters saying like, okay, well, here's the conditions. You know, you've got XYZ medical condition. Here's our payouts, the deductibles and everything else. We probably make money on this. And the underwriter like makes sure like, yeah, all of these things like fit our formulas. This is good to go. We're underwriting this. This is A-okay. You're ready to go. What would an underwriter do if not this?
could have checked the policy to see that defamation was excluded. Some fault lies with the carrier for not disclosing this to us when it was quoted. What? So they're just pointing fingers at each other, but...
And their broker, like, literally admits fault in the email. Like, holy shit.
The person actually affected is us. So... and then they also say they not only didn't know what was in my policy, they have apparently may have sold this policy to other people. In another email, they say, it looks like it's going to have to go up the ladder at the insurance company to find out why this wasn't disclosed to us earlier, that this exclusion was in there. I've been told by the underwriter that this has his full attention. I think he might be really concerned because they have a few other accounts with this insurance company. And if this exclusion is on all of them, then it's going to represent a larger problem for their business. So this may have been sent.
Well, but you have no idea. You have no idea if any of this is true, right? Because this is just being communicated to you by the broker, who himself might have completely fucked up, right? Now we have no clue what's true here. Like the broker could just be covering his ass while he tries to figure out how to solve this because he knows he fucked up hard. It's in their best interest to get this resolved amicably for all parties. He might just be saying that so that Coffee doesn't like try to get a lawyer and go after the insurance company who's going to say, well, what do you mean? We sold them this policy. Underwriter approved it. It's not my fault your broker didn't fucking read it. We thought that was his job.
Accounts with this insurance company, and if
also I could be very wrong. I don't know. All this seems really, really, really unprofessional. But maybe it's like really, really small businesses. Like, why is my broker telling me about like the back and forth he had with the underwriter, or telling me about what the underwriter talked about with the insurance company? Like, why the fuck am I even getting all this? What the fuck? This sounds like really, really, really wacky.
If this exclusion is on all of them, then it's going to represent a larger problem for their business. So this may have been sent to tons of people who think that defamation is excluded for them as well, and it like actually isn't. I just think this is so crazy to me that we're in this situation, but you know, we are. And ultimately now we're selling shirts. I mean, that's how we got here. That's how we got to selling this very cool, very nice shirt that you should definitely buy, because I haven't even calculated how many shirts I need to sell to make up for this, but it's a lot. Okay, so if you could help out, that would be very appreciated. Pre-order is for 14 days, I believe. We got this shirt. We got a lot more. You can go check it out on the website, coffeezilla.store. But either way, that is the story of how I got scammed. Yes, me, Coffeezilla, got scammed for $1 million. We got Dylan Danis. We got fine printed, whatever you want to call it. Tough, man, tough. Let me know if you have a similar story in the comments below, because a lot of people I've talked to actually are like, yeah, I've had the same experience with insurance. Not media insurance, but like, yeah, I had paid for insurance that ultimately, I guess that's their job, is to not pay. Like they don't make money from paying out $1 million on a policy that they maybe got paid like.
To be clear, that's not the job of insurance. The job of insurance is not to not pay, right? Insurance wants to, this is like a weird, there's like weird things where people are like, oh, cops want to fuck you over, and the DA wants to fuck you over, and the government hates you, and the FDA is trying to fuck you over, and insurance is trying to fuck you over. Like, what insurance wants to do is they want to charge what they think is a fair market price for covering whatever particular thing it is that they agree to cover. If you pay for it, and if your policy explicitly says that they cover it, they will cover it. And I call them and they'll do it. I've talked to plenty of people, believe it or not, fucking I scammed my insurance 15 years ago for my fucking saxophone, okay? Like, if you as long as your shit is covered, you call. I've talked to people that got like a full fucking rental car for a week, and their car got towed, and they didn't fucking pay anything because they're paying out the ass for their crazy no deductible bullshit or whatever. Like, if you have insurance and the policy says it and it's in the terms, like, you're good. Like, use it. You're fine. The idea that insurance is going to try as hard as it can to fuck you over, like, I'm sure it does happen in some cases, but like, nobody's going to buy your insurance if it's going to fuck you over intentionally and it gets like a really bad rap and nobody ever fucking pays out. Like, they know they're going to lose you forever as a fucking customer. Like, but
$30K for. So they make money from not paying out claims.
They make money from collecting premiums from people. That's where they make money from.
So I'm interested if you guys have stories below of
Because it wouldn't surprise me. My guess is the insurance companies probably have insurance for claims as well. That's probably the case.
Times where you had something similar happen in your life. I want to know about it. Either way, thanks for watching. You can appreciate a little pain at my expense. I'm laughing because I've had a little bit of time to process this. It's almost been a full month now, so sitting with this. Oh, actually a little over a month. So I can appreciate the irony of the situation. But when it first happened, let me tell you, I was not happy. I was sending some very angry emails. I was like, and yeah, that's basically it. Don't forget, go get yourself a shirt. Thank you, Coffeezilla. I'm suing. I really got to sell shirts now. All right, goodbye.
Okay. Oh, good luck. I'll be back tomorrow. No more crazy arguments with Rob. Jesus. I love you guys. Be careful. Do you have errors in emissions insurance? I don't make any errors, and I never omit anything, so. What is this? Linda Yacarino.
Hey, everybody. I was shocked by the evidence uncovered by the House Judiciary Committee that a group of companies organized a systematic illegal boycott against X. It is just wrong.
A systematic illegal boycott? What is she talking about?
And that is why we are taking action. Today, we filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, 4 of its key members, and the World Federation of Advertisers. These organizations targeted our company and you.
What? You guys are saying advertisers pulling out. Is that illegal?
Our users. The evidence and facts are on our side. They conspired to boycott X, which threatens our ability to thrive in the future. That puts your global town square, the one place that you can express yourself freely and openly, at long-term risk. People are hurt when the marketplace of ideas is constricted. No small group of people should be able to monopolize what gets monetized.
As Elon Musk personally demonetizes my account. True. Preach to me, Queen.
This group is no match for the power of our users. All of you, the very same users that have driven usage of X.
The closest thing is torturous interference? I'm sorry, not advertising with someone is torturous interference? Harris Waltz. Remember, you can always ask for double rice at no extra cost. Thanks, Chipotle Mexican Grill.
To all-time highs. I joined X because I believe in the power of the global town square. It's users like you, people of all backgrounds and opinions, who make X indispensable. You deserve an open platform where your views can be expressed without restriction and without fear. To all of you who have been part of this transformative journey that we're on, thank you. Rest assured, X has never been more committed to innovating and expanding all of our global town square.
Do you think with Trump's popularity that that will be the norm of future Republican candidates? No one knows, dude. I don't think it will be, though, because I don't think anybody else has his charisma. That's what pulls it off, but we'll see. Group boycotts. Any company may on its own refuse to do business with another firm, but an agreement among competitors not to do business with targeted individuals or business may be an illegal boycott, especially if competitors working together. It has market power. This makes sense. However, do they have proof or evidence of that? They mentioned something went before Congress. Is there any evidence that was presented that like the companies are working together to boycott X? This is the report. GARM's harm, how the world's biggest brands seek to control online speech. Interim staff report of the Committee on the Judiciary, the U.S. House of Representatives. Let's see who this has involved in it. Senate Judiciary Committee advances 7 judicial nominations. Okay, who is on the... Okay, leadership and members. Dick Durbin, Lindsey Graham, Sheldon Whitehouse. We've got Chuck Grassley. Amy Klobuchar is on here. Oh, Dems on the left, Republicans on the right. Okay. Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Hawley, Cotton. Okay, damn. Oof. Okay. Ossoff, our boy. Cory Booker. Okay, we got our good Dems over here too. Man, what an unfortunate last name. Christ. You're looking at the Senate one? Yeah. Oh, House Judiciary Committee. My bad, you're right. Hold on. Committee on the Judiciary... It's okay, so this is for the House. Oh, House Judiciary Committee. I see we got our boy Jim Jordan up here. The committee. Membership. Jim Jordan is the chairman. Gerald Nadler is the ranking member. We got our good boy Gates here. Okay. It's the only guy I really recognize. And on the Dem side, we've got Cory Bush. Eric Swalwell. Why do I know this name? What was he famous for? What did he do? Adam Schiff. Okay. I'm debating deleting my Twitter because it's getting stupid. What are your thoughts? I've thought about that, actually. I've thought about posting on Threads more. I feel like Twitter is a really negative platform. I feel like getting off Twitter might actually be really important. I just haven't committed to like learning how to do Threads yet. Why not Blue Sky or Mastodon? Because I want to be on a platform that people actually use. Got him. Let's see. The Committee on the Judiciary has jurisdiction over the protection of trade and commerce against unlawful restraints and monopolies. Committee is investigating apparent collusion within the World Federation of Advertisers, and specifically its Global Alliance for Responsible Media Initiative. Through GARM, large corporations, advertising agencies, boycotts, and other coordinated actions to demonetize platforms, podcasts, news outlets. Okay. I feel like just the creation of this is kind of spooky from an antitrust point of view, no? But I guess, I mean, if it exists. Okay. I'm looking for, what is the evidence that they have of okay, I guess these are the things that they're listing. Twitter and Elon Musk. Ooh, don't they mean X? According to one GARM member, GARM recommended that its members stop all paid advertisement on Twitter in response to Mr. Musk's acquisition of the company. GARM's internal documents show that GARM was asked by a member to arrange a meeting and hear more about GARM's perspectives about the Twitter situation and a possible boycott from many companies. GARM also held extensive debriefing discussions around Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, providing ample opportunity for the boycott to be organized. GARM bragged about taking on Elon Musk, and since then, Twitter was 80% below revenue forecasts. I have no idea like what the laws or the regulations would be here. Like, are you allowed to make recommendations on it seems like if the organization is allowed to exist, then it seems like doing boycotts is part of the purview of what they do. But then how is it not illegal if, as an entity that has a bunch of companies as part of it, when they recommend boycotts and stuff? Yeah, I don't know how it's not. I don't know any of the laws or anything here. Spotify and the Joe Rogan Experience, the urging of its members. Like this keeps saying urging of its members. Does this mean that like GARM makes recommendations so they don't have to boycott? Like, and its steer team threatened Spotify over allegation or over alleged misinformation on Joe Rogan's podcast, Joe Rogan Experience, because Mr. Rogan stated an opinion that young, healthy people need not receive the COVID-19 vaccine. GARM even admitted it was accurate, said its scope of work on brand safety, explaining to one of its members that brand safety is somewhat separate on Spotify versus, say, Facebook news feeds, because brands aren't being slotted into the podcast. In other words, the companies could easily choose whether to advertise on or avoid Mr. Rogan's podcast, and therefore GARM had no business interfering in Spotify's decision. Brand safety. Because brands aren't being slotted into the podcast. Are you allowed to, if you advertise with, if you were to advertise with Spotify, I wonder, are you allowed to tell them, I don't want my ads showing up on these particular podcasts? I wonder if you're allowed to do that. I wonder if they offer that, I wonder if they even offer that as an option to advertisers. Huh. You can do it on YouTube? I seriously doubt that. My guess is going to be that there are buckets of content that you can advertise with or not advertise with. That'd be my guess. Well, let's see what Spotify says. Ad creation targeting. This is targeting audience members. Let's see. This would be under brand safety, I would imagine. Maybe not. Oh, no, this is to, yeah, okay. I don't know if you can pull ads from a specific, my inkling is going to be that you can't. What would help for the Trump thing? When I start reading through the whole thing, it'll be more obvious what I need, I think. I could have sworn I remember your advertising buddy talking about targeted ads on various sites, but I could be wrong. I can't remember his name offhand, but it used to be in esports and went advertising. You mean Devin? You can target ads in that, like, you can target demographics of people, and there's probably buckets of content that you can target. So for instance, when you're hosting a podcast on a website, you'll be able to say things like, is this adult only, or is this not adult content, or do you have gambling or whatever included in it? Like, you can check these boxes, and when advertisers go to advertise, my guess is that an advertiser can say, I don't want to be on shows that promote gambling, or I don't want to be on shows that have like adult content. But I doubt as an advertiser you can say, I don't want my ads shown on this particular podcast. I would, because one, I don't know if the feature set would even be built into the back end of Spotify, and two, I don't know what the monetization, what it would look like on Spotify if you were to run into an issue where you started to have a bunch of people, like, imagine you've got like, you're managing advertising inventory and you've got all these different advertisers who are like deselecting like all these individual podcasts. It seems like it'd be a fucking nightmare. It would also be a lot harder for you to sell your platform to people that wanted to work on it. Because what if you went onto a platform and then people just didn't advertise? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I doubt you could. If somebody has an example of that, I'd be curious to see it. Yeah, Gulag, thank you for spamming in all caps. Yes, you can. You can exclude podcasts. It's the same on YouTube, and exclude channels. A particular podcast or a particular channel? Show me evidence of it. Link me something somewhere. Show me that. Was the adpocalypse about advertisers pulling all their ads or just complaining about ads on certain things? The adpocalypse on YouTube, I thought was advertisers pulling all of their ads. In like 2017? The YouTube adpocalypse is a site-wide term coined in early 2017 to describe a mass advertiser boycott and withdrawal on YouTube. This was not them just not advertising on certain channels. Do you think it's important to report Elon's activities as he becomes such an influential figure for the present and future of America's politics? A little bit, yeah. I feel like that's an unprecedented circumstance that I think it probably demands a close eye, but nobody can talk about it or gives a fuck about it, so. I'll just read this section, I guess. Documents obtained by the committee show that GARM told its members to boycott advertising on Twitter after Mr. Musk's purchase of the platform on October 28, 2022. According to documents provided to the committee, Ørsted, a Danish energy company and GARM member, contacted GARM as early as November 4th, 2022, to ask GARM if it's possible to arrange a meeting and hear more about GARM's perspectives about the Twitter situation and a possible boycott from many companies. Okay, so a member of GARM is contacting GARM to see what they would recommend. Seems ordinary, I guess. In a subsequent email exchange in May of 2023, an employee of Ørsted discussed the company's decision to take off all our paid advertisement on Twitter due to brand safety concerns and asked GARM what it would advise Ørsted to do and what are other global advertisers doing. Have they come back to the platform or are they still off? Documents provided to the committee do not reflect whether GARM replied in writing to Ørsted on April 14th, 2023. However, an Ørsted employee sent another email to WFA employees, including Mr. Rakovitz, stating, based on your recommendations, we have stopped all paid advertisement on Twitter. This Ørsted employee explained that it is an important platform for us to reach our audience, so we would like to consider going back. On April 18th, Mr. Rakovitz replied to Ørsted denying that GARM or WFA made the recommendation to stop paid advertising on Twitter as alleged by Ørsted because these are decisions that concern competitively sensitive information. Hi, Rob. I'm reaching out to you to ask if it's possible to arrange a meeting, hear more about your perspective about the Twitter situation. Possible. Okay. In a transcript interview with the committee, Mr. Rakovitz denied recommending that Ørsted stop advertising on Twitter and claimed to be unaware of anyone at GARM speaking to anyone at Ørsted during this period. Mr. Rakovitz's denial of any wrongdoing in the face of clear written evidence is not credible for many reasons. This sentence is a huge red flag. His denial of any wrongdoing. So it seems like what he denied was recommending that Ørsted stop advertising on Twitter, and he was unaware of any, or he claimed to be unaware of anyone at GARM speaking. Okay, so first, the committee initially contacted GARM about potentially anti-competitive conduct on March 22nd, 2023, between the date of Ørsted's initial email to GARM, seeking advice on ceasing paid advertising on Twitter, and the date of Mr. Rakovitz's subsequent denial. It is not surprising that Mr. Rakovitz sent an email disclaiming his recommendation for a boycott after being put on notice that GARM's actions were of interest to the committee. I hope there's way stronger stuff in here. What a garbage fuck paragraph. Okay. In addition, Mr. Rakovitz provided the committee with inaccurate information during his transcribed interview about his discussions with GARM members regarding Mr. Musk's acquisition of the platform on monthly GARM community calls among GARM members. Specifically, during his transcribed interview, Mr. Rakovitz was asked whether the Twitter acquisition was discussed on a community call. Mr. Rakovitz denied it was, testifying, no, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities, 105 and 106. Rakovitz's testimony. Oh, fuck. Is this public anywhere or no?
Customers to see their ads where and
okay, we're looking for a community call. Okay, I don't see a community call written in here. What was discussed was Twitter's priorities. Whoa, that's way too much. Priorities? Priorities. Fuck. Is this not the... This is on July 10th?
and when they expect them, and to make purchases.
I think
was that Ben Shapiro?
Analysis. Americans, at least Americans.
Oh, it was. Oh, shit. I thought I just had a voice deaf moment.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, I feel like I've seen clips of this before. I don't remember what Ben Shapiro was talking about. Is there a timestamp on the citation? Oh, at 26, 2 through 11. What do you think this is? 26, 23, 16 to 17. Do you think 23 seconds? Or I'm sorry, 23 minutes, 16 to 17 seconds? There's no way, right? It's not even turned on yet. Fuck. This must not be the right detail. Or this might not be the right video. Do you have time to go into a detailed explanation of why Kamala's selection isn't undemocratic? Every conservative I talk to brings it up, and I don't know the counter. Whether or not it's democratic or not, that's a red herring. You don't even bite on that question. There's a primary process that both parties go through in order to select who they want their candidate to be, that they will throw up in the general election to fight the other person. For people that are complaining about like whether or not it's anti-democratic that Biden stepped down and passed his delegates on to Kamala, that is the process that's as written. Democracy or democratic things aren't like the big concern of the parties in the primary season. Like, if you want to be critical of anti-democracy, it doesn't even make sense. We're not talking about the government yet. These are just private political parties that are choosing who they want to run in an election. If you want to be critical of anti-democratic things that happen in the primary process, there's a lot of things to be critical of. For instance, the use of caucuses. Caucuses are really fucking weird. And the fact that we still do them in states that are primaries is weird. Some people could argue that's kind of anti-democratic. The ordering that we have of states is really fucking weird. Why the fuck are Iowa and New Hampshire so important? Because of the arbitrary process through which the primaries happen in these states, right? But they're primaries. It's not like there's not like a coup happening, or it's not necessarily anti-democratic or like illegal or anything crazy like that. These are just like, these are how the parties have arranged themselves to do their primary processes. There's nothing anti-democratic about it. Like, this is part of what it's not, if you don't like it, you don't have to vote for him in the general. No one's forcing you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I find it interesting that earlier today, a congresswoman on the other side of the...
Okay, fuck. If anybody can find this, I would love to find this video. This is the Senate Judiciary Committee. Wait, do you think it might have been in testimony of the Senate Judiciary Committee?
For more on this, CBSN political contributor Molly Hooper.
4 years ago, Michael Horowitz. No, this is not what we're looking for. Whatever. Whatever. Okay. Well, he said, no, we were discussing Twitter's priorities. So here's what I don't like. Regarding Mr. Musk's acquisition of platform. Okay. Did you discuss on the monthly GARM community calls among GARM members whether the Twitter acquisition was discussed on the community call? He denied it, saying, no, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities. And then the next paragraph says, however, documentary evidence provided to the committee contradicts Mr. Rakowitz's denial and shows that Mr. Musk's acquisition of Twitter was discussed extensively with GARM members. This is not a community call, but maybe they're going to go on to say that. In December of 2022, in an email exchange with the subject line, support to Orsted about the Twitter situation, discussing a meeting between GARM and Mr. Musk, an employee at Orsted asked WFA employees, including Mr. Rakowitz, for a meeting to learn more about how the conversation went and how you see the situation now and expectations going forward. Mr. Rakowitz responded to the Orsted employee that the meeting with Mr. Musk is likely to come up and be discussed in the community call on Thursday next week. Can we discuss then and there? This still isn't. Do they have access to these community call? It's a community call. I imagine somebody's like reporting it or something, right? Like, what do we? Hold on, maybe it'll come up in a paragraph or two. The next month, in January 2023, in an email to a company looking to join GARM, a WFA employee specifically highlighted Mr. Musk's acquisition of Twitter as a topic of discussion among GARM members. WFA wrote, being part of the community gives you access to our monthly community calls. We offer a round up of current work and tackle recent brand safety issues that may have occurred. Recent example being extensive debriefing discussion around Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. The evidence of an email by Mr. Rakowitz telling Orsted that the Twitter situation would be discussed on a community call, and then the next month an email from a different WFA employee stating that there was an extensive debriefing discussion around Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, fatally undercuts Mr. Rakowitz's claim that the acquisition was not discussed on any community call. The question was, acquisition of the platform monthly. Okay. Specifically, during his transcribed interview, Mr. Rakovitz was asked whether the Twitter acquisition was discussed on a community call. Mr. Rakovitz denied that it was, testifying, no, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities. I want to see this conversation. Oh, thank God. Thank you so much. Okay. They're specific and you remember. I think there were two members came have raised it. But again, my policy, my general, the way that I try to operate is abiding by our competition law and making sure that we shut any of those conversations down. So what discussion did GARM have about the acquisition with its members? So the conversation actually around the acquisition was had directly with Twitter, and it was really around making sure that there was an understanding from a brand safety perspective, transparency, business continuity, and understanding sort of the forward work that Twitter or X was willing to do. So that was with Twitter. What discussions were with GARM members? With GARM members, I think the only thing that it was up for Twitter, and they voluntarily discussed some of their priorities. We don't speak on behalf of our members. Was the Twitter acquisition discussed on a community call? No, that was discussed. What was discussed was Twitter's priorities post Elon Musk's acquisition of the company or as a result. I think during the transition, but again, I go back to our compliance law. We don't discriminate any of the platforms that are members of our companies in our members in terms of country of origin, management laws, or ownership structures. Okay, we don't discriminate any of the platforms that are members or our companies and our members. When they say we don't discriminate any of the platforms that are members, is he referring to platforms like Twitter here? Or any companies and our members, and then companies that are people that are their clients? I'm not sure what the structure of this is. So did GARM make any recommendations to its members about Twitter? Absolutely not. It'd be inappropriate from a competition law perspective, and we try to avoid any recommendations. We shared them only internally with our steer team. Okay, what is this? I assume it's public. Okay, they're different. Correct. Can you list it? Okay, off. Survey its members about Elon Musk's acquisition. Yes, we did. What did you do with the results of that survey? We shared them only internally within the SEER team and then also with Twitter to just help sort of frame some of the legitimate concerns in making sure that there was fact-based conversation. So yeah, what did the SEER team do with those surveys results? Nothing. What did Twitter do with the survey results? I think they used it to help frame some of the work that they ended up doing. Did GARM ask its members to stop advertising on Twitter as a result of? No, absolutely not. We actually did the opposite. You did the opposite. What do you mean by did the opposite? We spoke up against any calls for boycotts, also within our competition law compliance. I wonder if they looked for or cited any evidence of that. I mean, this report wouldn't do that. Occurred. Recent example being extensive debriefing discussion, brand safety support for our support and. It's not the exact doc, but here's some of the exhibits. All right, hold on. Is this the hearing you're looking for? Probably not. Oh, wait, is it? Well, if we have the whole transcription here, we don't actually need this.
Committee will come to order without objection. The chair is authorized to declare a recess at any time. We welcome everyone to today's hearing on collusion in the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. Chair is now recognized for an opening statement. Section 1 of the Sherman Act make.
This just seems like a transcribed deposition, basically. This one is too late. Yeah, this is something different, I think. Like this line of questioning is, was the Twitter acquisition discussed on a community call? No, what was discussed was Twitter's priorities. Post Elon Musk's acquisition of the company or as a result, I think during the transition, like some part of this conversation must have included the fact that there was like an Elon Musk acquisition, because there's going to be, it's a transition. How do you not discuss that? But in this report, they're making it sound like they had like an extensive conversation about the acquisition, but it's hard to understand like what's even being alleged here. In addition to merely discussing the acquisition, in November 22nd, GARM conducted a survey of its members about the views of Mr. Musk's acquisition of Twitter and shared this information in the context of a boycott on Twitter. During a transcribed interview with the committee, Mr. Rakovich asked what he did with the survey results, and he testified that he shared them only internally within the steer team, and then also with Twitter, just sort of to just help sort of frame some of the concerns, legitimate concerns, and making sure that it was a fact-based conversation. Documents received by the committee, however, showed that Mr. Rakovich created material for the attendees of a WFA executive committee meeting that included some of the survey results. For the attendees of a WFA executive committee meeting, who would be attending this? Would it be people that would be part of the community calls? In addition, an email from Orsted dated November 14th, which Orsted asked for a meeting to share GARM's reflections and results of the survey, suggests that GARM share the survey results with Orsted too. This has likely come up and be discussed in the community call on Thursday. Can we discuss that in there? Thanks. Hello, hope everything's well. I know you planned to have a meeting yesterday with Elon Musk. Is it possible to arrange a meeting next week to learn more about how that conversation went and how you see the situation now and expectations going forward? Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful weekend. Where's the reference to the survey result? Asked for a meeting to share GARM's reflections and results of the survey. 113 at 2:09. Is it something, another exhibit somewhere? Do you defend this violent rhetoric from the Dems? Probably. I think they were saying they were discussing facts of the matter of the transition and not possible motives of Elon. Yeah, Chris, that's what it feels like. Yeah, but obviously in this judiciary report, it's being phrased in a way more aggressive and malicious way, right? Malevolent way. GARM's document suggests that the results of the survey, shared at least with the WFA Executive Committee, Orsted, and on the GARM community call, would have signaled to members to pull their advertising from Twitter. In a document prepared for the WFA Executive Committee, the survey results show that 86% of ad buyers feel that the change in Twitter's ownership is a significant issue. Further, 71% of advertisers and agencies feel that change in ownership will have a negative or very negative impact on Twitter. This is a 422-page deposition. Jesus Christ. In his transcribed interview, Mr. Rakovich denied organizing a boycott or recommending that GARM members stop advertising on Twitter. However, he took credit for Twitter's revenue decline in internal GARM documents produced to the committee. Hi, both. This is good. I did some tweaking on the edges to help contextualize who we are and what we are doing. I'd like to point out that nowhere in this email, is the "you may recognize my name" from being some idiot who challenged Musk on brand safety issues. Since then, they are 80% below revenue forecasts. Cowboy hat face. This is, I mean, it could just be that he predicted that they would have a massive revenue slip, right? Testified in his interview that he was not actually taking credit for the revenue decline, but instead he was making a self-effacing joke about a tweet he posted that had gone sideways, meaning, as he explained, it had gotten visibility, and that was probably not in Mr. Rakovich's best interests. Internal GARM documents, however, show that the tweet in question, posted on October 31st, 2022, was not viewed by GARM as ill-advised. Instead, GARM celebrated the news coverage the next day, with Mr. Rakovich writing, "This is awesome. This is..." Okay. We'll see if they get more subpoenas, if like anything real comes out of this. Ugh. Okay.